Hello, I'm Deborah Sword. Are you here for the secret to resolving conflict? Here's the secret that the Conflict Owner's Manual has for you. You'll find the secret by looking in the mirror. You are the secret. Once you own your conflict, you have agency, and that's how you'll do conflict better. But yes, there are details. Here's the fine print. In episode 98, we asked why you'd want to own your conflict and suggested ways to achieve it. Here's part two of that discussion about the reason we suggest owning conflict as the core to achieving the other common words associated with conflict, like solve, resolve, win, best, better, and so on. Own conflict isn't usually in the list, and that's an oversight. Owning conflict puts the focus on you, what you think, do, say, and believe. Owning your conflict doesn't require anyone's permission, cooperation, participation, or investigation. Owning conflict in one context is transferable to other conflicts in a way that resolving a conflict with your spouse late at night doesn't always transfer to a work conflict in a meeting with an office context. You own your conflict when you improve your conflict competencies to have skills you can adapt and use almost anywhere with anyone. I say almost because being subjected to violence and abuse aren't conflicts you own. That's an exception. When you ask a conflict specialist a question about a specific conflict, you'll get the best advice the person can give. And then you have to try it in the context of that specific conflict. So far, so good. Then, in the real world of your conflict, the advice is subject to the action reaction dynamic. There's a script that emerges between you and the other person over which you have little control. The idea that you control only yourself is ancient wisdom. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote something similar in his famous Meditations, and he lived in the 2nd century of the Common Era. Following a model or script is okay if it works. But what happens if the other person won't follow the model or script? Then you want conflict competency skills that don't depend on the other person's responses fitting any particular model. You own conflict when you do the following 3 things. First, you analyze the conflict well and often. 2, you understand your worldview to understand the other person's worldview so you can be more patient and tolerant of them. And 3, by using the conflict style that's appropriate for the context, time, and place. So here are details of the 3 unique and transferable skills. Conflict analysis comes when you ask good questions so you have a better chance of solving the right problem. Many resolutions look great when they're agreed upon and don't last because they don't solve the real issue. Second, self-awareness of your worldview. If you understand your mental map of how you think and believe a conflict should be conducted, you also see the other person in your conflict is behaving in accordance with how they think and believe conflict should be conducted. You each have a mental map. They may not mesh. Your worldview is not a universal truth. It's one perspective you own. They own theirs, and that's okay. The third is conflict style. There are many styles and methods for engaging in conflict, and you have access to all of them. But you also have favorites, and you default to those. As you use them, you get practice using them until you're good at that favorite. The ones you don't use often weaken from lack of practice, and you may forget about them. Use them all. You have access to them all. One will be appropriate for the context. So, with the Conflict Owner's Manual, we don't give you a secret script to use to smooth things over with that one person or a step-by-step model to settle that one conflict. We offer you conflict competencies you can practice so that you can do conflict better overall in the appropriate style for that conflict. Thank you for listening. We hope you subscribe to our podcast, like it, share it, leave a comment. Maybe you have dogs that come around when you don't want them to. Send me a picture of your dog or your cat. Thanks again for listening.